I'm pretty restricted trying to go through these papers and stuff.
Deputy, can we release one hand? You can be seated. Are you right-handed or left-handed, sir? Okay. Okay, the defendant has asked to have one hand released from the handcuffs so he could better manipulate his paperwork. The court will note that Mr. Griffith has been well behaved during the course of these proceedings, has not acted out against any individual party, and the court has therefore asked for law enforcement to release one hand. Law enforcement has done that at this time. Sergeant Churches, you do understand you're still under oath, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Cologne, you may resume your questioning.
Your Honor, if I might just ask the court a brief question procedurally.
Okay.
The people are presenting video evidence, just to let the court know, we have about 20 more minutes of video evidence with Chief Daly in an effort to show the court the statements that defendant made, because defendant did not specify specific statements that he wished to be suppressed. If that's not the court's wish, I can have the officers summarize, or the people would request that the motion be denied because no statements were specified.
Mr. Griffiths, with regard to statements that you're asking to suppress, what are the category of statements that you're asking to suppress? Is there a point in time and they're forward, or?
I'm requesting all statements to be suppressed. That's the way it is worded in the motion, and I hereby am requesting that because the traffic stop from its inception, I was not free to leave, which any normal person would feel that that is an arrest. They barricaded me in, roadblock, blocks under the
Okay,
tires.
we're not arguing yet. I was just trying to get an idea of what statements you're talking about. Was there a finite point in time where he was advised of his Miranda right?
No.
Okay, so I guess we'll just hear the video or hear from Chief Daly or however you intend to identify which statements so the court can make a thorough record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You bet.
And if I might have just a moment here.
And we will need to hear, you would be table 2, I think, so. She's table 2, right? Okay.
Stop the video. At that point, what were you going to do with other officers?
Continue the investigation, gather further evidence.
Okay, and when you received that evidence, you decided to arrest defendant?
I did.
And Your Honor, with permission, I'd like to publish further Exhibit 5.
You may.
You are under arrest. Are you going to exit your vehicle on your own free will? For theft. Okay. You are under arrest. You understand that? Okay. What do you mean you're not going to go willingly? What are you going to do? Okay. Okay. I'm not going to resist, but I'm not going willing. Okay. I do not. That means I'm not going to allow you to harm you. Okay. Well, the easiest way to not harm you is you to follow my commands. What is it now? You are under arrest. I do not want to hurt you. I do not want to be resisted. I want you to comply with my instructions. Okay. He hasn't been barking at me at all, so. I like wiener dogs. They're nice. I grew up with them. You will have handcuffs on you, yes, sir. Hi, Crystal. Oh, tell me, they will not. I showed you my ID. I showed you my ID. I gave you my badge number. Yeah. Yeah. I am registered as a law enforcement officer in the state of Colorado. I don't know what that is. I did swear an oath. It's at the police department. Okay. So I'm going to consider you resisting arrest right now. So I would like for you to exit the vehicle on your own free will. I do not want to use force against you, sir. I would like for you to exit the vehicle and listen to all commands. What's going to happen to him? That's something we're going to have to figure out next. Right now, you are my primary focus. He's being detained as part of the traffic stop. He's being detained as part of the traffic stop. I am the supervisor on duty for the town of Avon. Will Williams did speak to Deputy Sergeant. He mentioned that he couldn't get a lot of information from Mr. Williams. Huh? You're a diplomat, then you need to provide me your diplomat card. Okay. So as of right now, you're under arrest. Please exit the vehicle. Sir, you are under arrest. Please exit the vehicle. I'm going to consider this, I'm going to consider you resisting my lawful order. I'm going to consider you a barricaded subject. Then I need you to exit the vehicle. You're under arrest. You haven't provided me lawful authorities. Prove who you are. Your ID doesn't prove who you are.
Please exit the vehicle. Listen to all of my commands. Do not want to use force against you, sir. Please exit the vehicle. I do not want
I do
to.
not feel safe around you.
Then exit the vehicle.
I've done nothing wrong.
I'm going to consider you a barricade.
I'm not barricaded.
You can come out. You are under arrest. You leave, you will be considered escape.
I'm not going anywhere. But you don't have the authority to give me commands.
You're under
That's
arrest.
you the authority to give me commands. Prove your authority. What's in it?
I don't know how to prevent it more than what I already. I showed you my ID. I provided you my badge number and I provided you my name. I don't know what else you need me to show my authority.
Office and your 951.
I don't know what a 951
What
is.
else?
I don't know what a 951 is. My oath of office, I swore through an oath to protect the Constitution of Colorado and the United States. You're under arrest. Please exit the vehicle. This is the last time I'm going to ask you. Is there anything I can say or do to get you to exit the vehicle? Okay, I'm going to consider you a barricade. I'm going to be calling in some extra forces. If you want to exit peacefully, please do so. But until then, you are under arrest. If you try to leave this traffic stop, that'll be considered escape. You understand? Okay. Back up. 650. I'm going to consider this a barricade.
Did you put the second set of stop sticks down
It was prior to that.
just prior to that? Or how long prior to that?
That I do not recall.
Okay. Was it before or after you told him he was under arrest?
Before.
Now, is there a particular reason that you chose to use stop sticks in this detention?
I'm I believed at that point, just having stop sticks under the trailer would not be able to completely immobilize the vehicle if the vehicle decided to flee. I decided to place the stop sticks in front of the vehicle so both drive tires and steer tires would have been deflated, along with the trailer tires if they continue rolling forward, to prevent any type of escape or eluding.
Okay, and is this something that you do in other types of traffic stops?
It's not a common practice on every traffic stop. It is only a practice on situations where eluding might be a possibility, intoxicated drivers, or in this instance, a person failing to refusing lawful commands to exit the vehicle or identify themselves.
Then after you told him that he was under arrest and you said that you considered him a barricaded subject, is that correct?
Yes.
And did Chief Daly arrive to take over the scene at that point?
A little bit later, I was on the phone with my deputy chief at the time, who then relayed that information to the chief of police, who was at a council meeting, providing security for the council meeting. Once he was advised of this incident, that's when he came out.
Okay. Now, there was some mention of a 40 millimeter. Can you explain what that is?
40 millimeter is a less lethal tool that the Avon Police Department has. I'm fully trained on the use of this tool. It is a tool to help prevent an escalation to where hopefully we didn't have to use deadly force, where the less lethal tool for a 40 millimeter launcher, which we can maintain distance, but also have a positive impact on an individual location for the use of force.
Was that ever pointed at the defendant?
It was not.
Prior to his arrest, were any guns ever pointed at the defendant?
I believe a state patrol trooper who I assigned to as lethal coverage at Sergeant Henninger's vehicle did have her rifle pointed at the vehicle.
And that was prior to the arrest?
Prior to the physical custody, after I advised him he was under arrest and considered him barricaded.
But during the detention and prior to the arrest, were any weapons drawn and pointed at Mr. Griffith?
No.
And during the initial detention, when you're speaking with him, how many officers are present?
Initially, just Sergeant Henninger and myself. Couple of secondary officers started arriving. I requested assistance from the Eagle County Sheriff's Office, which I believe helped close the off-ramp. At one point, a officer, or now Sergeant Stamp, arrived on scene. He's the one I directed to go to Home Depot. So he left. At another point, Sergeant Gaspard of the Avon Police Department arrived, and Officer Carlton. At what point in the investigation? I'm not 100%.
Okay, but did they remain close to the vehicle or farther back towards the trailer?
Farther back towards the trailer. Up until Chief Daly's arrival, the only two officers that had contact with Mr. Griffith was myself and Sergeant Henninger.
Can I have a moment, Your Honor?
May. Thank you. Mr. Griffiths, you may cross-examine.
Thank you. Sergeant, you were not the officer who initiated the stop, correct?
Correct.
When you arrived, Trooper Henninger had not yet confirmed any crime, correct?
No, he stopped him under my authority for a reasonable suspicion.
You did not witness any theft personally, correct?
No.
You never saw me inside Home Depot, correct?
No.
You never saw me pushing a cart or taking merchandise,
I think we
correct?
established personal knowledge of the witness.
I'll let him ask these. He's essentially verifying that this officer did not have personal knowledge. So I'll let him continue
Right.
at this time.
Thank you.
But only once on this line.
Yep.
Last witness, I think we did it like 3 times.
You never saw me pushing a cart or taking merchandise, correct?
No,
You did not speak directly to any Home Depot employee before I was removed from the truck, correct?
incorrect.
Who did you speak to?
Reporting party at this time, I can't remember their name, but it was
Mr. Terry, the manager?
I believe it was the manager. Yes, sir.
Okay. And did he not state as a witness that I was wearing a white t-shirt?
Not to me directly that I can recall. I believe I received that information from Sergeant Stamp after the traffic stop happened, and my direction for him to continue the investigation at Home Depot.
Okay. So you had another witness that also verified that I was in a white t-shirt and blue jeans, correct?
So I believe so. That would have been someone Sergeant Stamp talked to, but
Correct.
he did tell me that. He did tell me that initially the witness statements was in a white t-shirt.
So both witnesses stated white shirt, blue jeans.
That I cannot answer. I can only answer the information that Sergeant Stamp gave to me, and what I can recall right now is that he told me that the witnesses or witness, I don't know exactly who said that you were in a white shirt.
Okay. The description given, sorry, when you saw me, I was wearing an orange shirt, correct?
Yes,
And I was wearing a hat, correct?
yes,
I was also wearing prescription glasses, correct?
yes.
So my appearance did not match the description dispatch provided, correct?
Dispatch did not provide it. It would have been Sergeant Stamp that provided that information to me, but you are correct that that initial witness statement did not match your description.
So on the BOL that was sent out through dispatch, it states wearing white shirt and jeans. You remember that?
I believe you might be referring to our call for service notes. Does it state 617 right before it?
Yes, it does.
So 617 is the badge number for Officer Stamp. That is dispatch typing in what Officer Stamp said.
Okay. Thank you. Did you take a photo of me sitting in the truck?
I remember raising my body camera up to you. I did take photos. I'm not 100% if I took one directly of you or if I used my body camera.
Okay, did you send that photo or video to Stamp to show to the witness for identification purposes?
I do not recall doing that. I do recall sending a picture of the items of the truck along with the UPC code.
Your Honor, I would like to offer Mr. Church's police report as evidence.
As evidence.
Well, not evidence, as an exhibit, I should say. Sorry, I'll refrain.
Counsel?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Okay. How would you like to mark that? We can make a copy if that's the only one you got.
If you would like to, and keep it for the court's records if possible.
Santana, can we go grab that and make them a copy real quick? And we'll call that defendant's exhibit B as in boy.
Can I proceed or should we wait?
If you'd like to proceed, and then you can pick up at that point once she comes back with that
Perfect.
copy. Go ahead, please.
You also asked if I had a receipt, correct?
Yes.
And I told you that I threw this receipt away, correct?
At one point you did. Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you notify any other officers that went to Home Depot to look for a receipt in the trash?
No,
You didn't notify nobody about a receipt that could have been in the trash?
no.
You escalated the situation by classifying it as a possible barricade, correct?
I escalated after providing you the information that you were under arrest and your refusal to exit the vehicle. I did declare you at a barricade at that point.
So that is a yes?
Yes,
Okay. A barricade normally involves an armed or violent suspect, correct?
incorrect.
You never observed any weapon?
No, I did not.
No officer on scene reported seeing me with any weapon?
No,
You also wrote that the passenger did not match the dispatch either, correct?
correct.
You advised Henninger that you did not have probable cause for both parties, correct?
Correct. I did not have probable cause for the passenger.
You placed stop sticks before confirming any crime, correct?
Incorrect. I was still into the investigation of the theft, and at that point, I could articulate obstruction.
So Home Depot had told you specifically there was a theft.
I told Officer Stamp. Well, initially, yes, the Home Depot directly told me that there was a theft, provided me your vehicle description. And then after the traffic stop, to continue the investigation for to prove or disprove the claim of being purchased, Sergeant Stamp then went and continued the investigation where he reviewed video, reviewed that he did not see you go to any points of sale and just walked out with the items. He sent me a picture of you. I did not send him a picture, I don't believe. Send me a picture of the person that he has on video doing it, which matched your description.
Thank you. In your police report, it states the manager and employee described Mr. Griffith as wearing a white shirt.
Okay, we've been through this enough. He's testified that he's aware of that description. Both witnesses have testified as to that, but then he just said he received a photograph from Stamps
Okay.
that matched the description of the clothes you were wearing.
Dispatch never mentioned alarms going off from Home Depot, correct?
Correct.
And you personally did not hear any shoplifting alarm?
Correct.
No witness ever described the suspect as having tattoos, correct?
Correct.
My tattoos were clearly visible on both of my arms during the stop, correct?
Correct.
They were also visible in the photograph of me walking out with the items on the cart, correct?
Probably not to a detail, but you probably could see the tattoos on it. I'd have to revisit looking at the photo.
Okay. Your Honor, can I enter this as an exhibit?
Sure.
It's the photo of the shopping cart.
Show it to the people so they can,
No objection, Your Honor.
okay, do we need to make a copy of that one as well?
Please.
Okay, yeah, actually Santana will come to you. We'll call that one Defendant's Exhibit C as in Charlie.
And would you make one to give to?
And we'll just use the copy that she makes for me. I'll give it to the witness when you're ready for me to give
Thank
that to the witness. And so, so far, I also admit Exhibit B when you're ready to come back to that. And we'll admit Exhibit C as there's been no objection to either of these items.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I use the color one for the record and give you the black and white one, or do you need?
I would rather have the colored.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return the colored version to you. I'm going to make a brief record that in the colored version of the photograph, and I think that the one item that the defendant has continually been addressing is the color of his shirt. In the photograph, it reflects an individual who appears to be the defendant with a large cart full of power tools. He's wearing an orange shirt, a hat, and glasses. I will give the color version back to, if you want to make further.
Would you please hold that a second and I'll have you make another note for the record? If you would look in the picture behind the boxes.
Okay, well, I was just making that note because we're using a black and white in the record as opposed to a
Right.
color
And if-
version.
I believe that in the back, there's a gray.
Any other descriptions you can pull through the witnesses, okay?
Okay.
I don't want to make myself a witness in this case. I was just
Understood.
making sure the record's clear what the photograph looks like.
Understood. Do you have that photo in front of you?
I do not, sir.
If you're going to ask him about colors, he's going to need to use the one you have.
That's fine. In that picture, you see multiple DeWalt tools and a Milwaukee tool, correct?
Yes.
How many items are on that cart? Can you distinguish it with that picture, or are you gonna need the color?
It's pretty tough to tell whether or not it's two different boxes or that black line. In the black and white, I can't tell if that's one box or two separate boxes.
Can we give him this one so he can count the items on there, because there should be 8 items on the cart?
Santana, would you mind? And at this point, my court clerk is handing what's already been admitted as Defendant's Exhibit C, the actual color version, to Sergeant Churches.
Would you agree that there's 8 items on that shopping cart?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and also in that picture, do you see that gray? I'm really not sure what they call it, but I believe they call it, in the stores would be something to do with theft prevention. It's the gray thing with the little light on top of it. Yes, that is correct.
Yes, sir.
Is that light lit up?
Not that I can tell. It doesn't look like it in the picture.
Does not look like it?
No.
Now, do you understand that most items nowadays that are sold at store have prevention loss measures inserted in the boxes or in the property of the items in the stores?
I can't talk specific to Home Depot and how they do it, but I do know that a lot of stores have merchandise tags to prevent or to sound the alarms.
Okay, thank you. Also, if you look in that picture, most of these stores also have a theft device that would be wired onto the boxes, correct?
Once again, I can't talk about Home Depot's procedures.
Understood. So that light on that theft deterrent is not going off, correct?
Not in the still photo, no.
So if that light was going off, that would initially state that there was theft deterrents in the boxes and that was a theft in progress.
It could.
Okay. Can I get the picture back, please?
You may, Santana. And again, Mr. Griffiths, I'm going to reorient you a little bit. We're here on the suppression motion.
Correct.
Okay, we're not trying the case here today. So
Correct.
let's stay on point here.
You,
You filed a motion to suppress statements and evidence, and you're starting to wander a little bit.
you also filed a supplemental report to the original report, correct?
I did.
Why did you file a supplemental report?
Because I was notified I put the incorrect date in my police report.
And what was that date?
I believe it was August 12th.
And has that date been updated through the court systems?
That I don't know. I provided the supplemental report that the actual event happened on August 13th.
Okay, thank you. No further questions for this witness.
Thank you. Any redirect?
Judge.
Do you have any other witnesses?
At this time, the people call Chief Daly.
Okay. Thank you, Sergeant Churches. Do you have a? Oh, we haven't, no, so what I do. Figure out where A went. Please raise your right hand, Chief. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of law the testimony you give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may be seated, sir. Please state your full name, spell your last name for the record.
My full name is Gregory Daly, D-A-L-Y. I go by Greg.
Sir, you may proceed.
Daly, what's your current occupation?
I'm Chief of Police with the Avon Police Department.
Are you post-certified?
Yes,
Were you on duty on August 13th, 2024?
yes,
Did you have occasion to get called out to a barricaded subject involving Mr. Griffith?
yes.
What was the information that you had at the time before you were called out?
So effectively that the suspect, I didn't know the suspect at the time, but the suspect had stolen merchandise from Home Depot, had exited from Home Depot in a truck towing a trailer, and that truck had been stopped by Colorado State Patrol in Walcott.
What was going to be your primary role in this investigation?
So Sergeant Churches had effectively declared a barricade, was requesting that the SWAT team be called out. And I talked to the SWAT team commander, Commander Wessenfelder, briefly over the phone. And I was going to go out and sort of assess the situation. And then a decision would be made as to whether SWAT team needed to be called out or not.
What happened when you arrived?
When I arrived on scene, I ended up briefly talking to Sergeant Churches about where things were at that point in time. And he had sort of explained to me that the merchandise that was stolen was in the back of the truck and also in the back seat of the truck in plain view. At that point in time, I believe that he told me that the value of the product was about over $2,000 at that point in time. And that the individual who was obviously at some point identified as Mr. Griffith was refusing to exit from the vehicle.
Did you make a determination to have interaction with Mr. Griffith?
I did, yeah.
And were you wearing your body-worn camera at that time?
Yes,
Did you upload a copy of that body-worn camera to evidence.com?
yes,
And was it a fair and accurate representation of the events that occurred that day?
yes.
Your Honor, at this time I move to admit Exhibit 8.
Any objection?
No
Sir?
objection.
Okay, and you said 8?
8, yes.
Okay,
Permission to publish?
you may. 8 shall be admitted.
Hello, sir. I'm Chief Daly with the Avon Police Department. Can I put it down so I can talk to you? It's very loud here in the background. So obviously, Sergeant Churches from the Avon Police Department has talked to you about why we're here. Obviously, there's an allegation that the equipment in the back of your truck was not paid for, according to Walmart or Home Depot. Obviously, we've been trying to work with you to ascertain if you've got some sort of receipt, and we can let you go about your way. But I understand you don't have a receipt, or you. Okay. We're trying to work with you. Listen, guy, if this is a simple error on behalf of Home Depot, that's up. No. That's something you can take up with them. But at this point in time, we have an allegation that this was.
Them and ask them if they're gonna press charges or what's going on.
That's what we're doing at the moment.
Charges, let me go.
Okay, well, look, that's a very fair comment. We will ascertain that. But if they are going to press charges, I would like to resolve this rather than keep it.
Press charges, then you guys do what you do, but nobody's arresting you.
Okay.
You're not going to jail because you guys don't have the authority. Write me a summons, do what you do, and let me on my way.
Okay.
I'm not resisting you. I'm not fighting you. I'm feeling threatened right now.
Okay.
I'm a national. I understand that.
I understand all of what you're saying, okay? But I'm a chief of police in the state of Colorado. I have to obviously follow the state law and municipal code. So we're not gonna agree on that, but I have to do my job, okay? So from that perspective, okay, we'll agree to disagree. Yeah.
How are you, if you're the city police, how are you explaining that?
Because the crime occurred in our jurisdiction. So under fresh pursuit, we can obviously make contact with you and deal with it on that basis, okay? Yeah.
This allegation allegedly happened.
Okay. Again, sir, I'm not going to get into the debate over the law. I've been doing this.
Fine.
No.
That's fine.
I just can I just give you my background? I've been doing this for 28 years. Okay. It's not my first rodeo. I'm not the chief of police for no reason. I've been a chief for 8 years. I've been with the Avon Police Department for 16. Prior to that, I was a sergeant with the Eagle County Sheriff's Office. So I've got a lot of experience and background. Okay. I'm trying to be respectful with you. Okay. And you've been respectful with me. I would like to resolve this. I've got so many cops tied up in this. We got other issues going on.
Call and find out if they're gonna press charges.
Okay.
Let me go.
Okay, well, that's a fair enough comment, and let me confirm that and come back to you. But can I ask you once more, is there any receipt that you could show us that we can? Okay,
Because somebody's liability, and I've noticed everybody their liability.
okay,
It's that contract on the bump service, that's $10,000 a month on top of it. I'm not threatening you.
yep.
I'm talking to you as a man on business. I just want you to produce the price of water.
Yeah, so my oath of office is based on my badge, and I'm identifying myself as the Avon Police Chief.
But anybody can.
Okay, so that's an Avon Police Chief. We got.
But I can get one.
But hey, you know, you seem to be a relatively intelligent guy. Okay, very smart. You see all these police cars? Okay, are you? No, but you understand that we are all government employees. We're in police cars. We're in uniforms. We're okay. So we're not.
So
This I'm not impersonating a police officer. Neither are the troopers. Okay. Well. Okay.
like.
Okay. As a reasonable, intelligent person, at this point in time, you would probably perceive that this is a lot of police officers there. Okay. Give me a couple minutes, okay? My name is Greg. What's your first name? Okay, fair enough. So let us confirm with Home Depot at this point in time.
They do want to go forward charges.
You have confirmed that. Okay.
I'm at right now, they're still working through it, 2451.
Okay. Okay, sir, we have confirmed with Home Depot that they want to pursue charges, okay? The amount at this point in time that they are claiming that's been taken is over $2,000. That's a fine in the state of Colorado, okay? So that is not something we can summons you on. You are going to have to come into with us so we can process you, et cetera, okay? No, we're not kidnapping you.
That's exactly what.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sir, listen, at this point in time, okay,
Listen, if you can't produce your standard form 951 or your oath of office, if you have these, it's not that hard. It's on the book.
So I'm not required by law to provide any of that at this point in time. And, okay, well, listen, again, I'm going to respect you. You are obviously people that live in this country, but you are at this point in time, obviously being placed under arrest. Okay, we've advised you you're under arrest. I'm going to ask you, okay, for the sake of not anybody getting injured or hurt in that, I'd like you to step out and we can place you in custody. All of this you can address at a later stage. But at this point in time, I am talking to you in a reasonable fashion, and I'm saying that you're under arrest. Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, you are under arrest. Okay. So from that perspective, I need you to work with us. I don't want to add resisting arrest or well, you are if you're not. Yeah, you. Okay. I'm not kidnapping you. I'm not. I'm going to place you into custody. Okay. Okay. That I'm going to place in. You can have that perspective, but that's not what the law says. Okay. Okay. Well, listen. At this point in time, I am trying to resolve this in a. Okay.
When people back, tell them to drop this ship, and if they want it, I'll pull the seat out of here.
No, that's not. I'm afraid that's not how it works. Sir. You can't go. Hey, you can't go into somebody's private property and take their property without. Well, I'm telling you, we have proof. They have proof that you took this. There's no receipt. There's no form of payment. So in any society, okay, it's usually, in order to take somebody, if somebody else probably you have to give them some sort of compensation. No sort of compensation was transacted at this point in time. So, we.
By not producing those.
Producing what? No, okay. Listen, sir, okay, again, you seem to be intelligent, okay? We've had 10 people, Yeah, I do. I guess I've been doing this for 28 years, sir. Yeah, I believe that, okay? But what I'm saying to you is, I'm trying to resolve this in a peaceful manner, okay? You're not. I told you you're under arrest. I'm asking you to get out of the vehicle. I'm trying to do it in a respectful way. You can argue all of this at a later stage, but I have no choice but to arrest you. So I need you to get out. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want your partner here to get hurt. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want my officers to get hurt. I've been, you know, I have had situations where people have fought with me, spat on my face, and I'm not looking for that tonight. No, and I appreciate it. But I'm trying to be respectful. And listen, we are recording everything you said. All of this can be brought up in the case at a later stage. But from this perspective, I really want you to be safe. Okay, you said, I said, I need you to be safe. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so from this perspective, I would like you to step out of your own free will. So I'm not forcing you. I'm not using any force on you. You will be placed into custody. I will be placing handcuffs on you. We will bring you obviously, and we will process you. Sorry. Hey, 1 second. I'm just talking to a guy at the front door here. I was trying to get something here. Get that.
Sure.
The sheriff, this is an Avon situation. He's at home at this point in time, okay? So he's not on duty. Okay, he's a friend of mine. He was actually my field training officer 26 years ago in the sheriff's office. So I know him very well. I talked to him earlier on. I was at a meeting with him behind San Beach, okay? He is not coming out here. We're not doing that, buddy, okay? You know, you can be reasonable and you can be unreasonable. That's not happening. So at this point in time, I need you to get out of the vehicle. I am not going to tie up 10 officers who need to go serve other people in this community by you taking this stance. So you are not getting out of the vehicle like I'm asking you, okay? I don't want to have to use force, but I will have to use force if you're not going to comply. I don't want to do that. I no reason what to do that unless if you comply. If you don't comply,
I have no problem complying and you produce your oath of office every 9 people.
okay, that is not happening. Okay,
So why is
because I am not required. I'm not required by the state of Colorado. I am not required. I don't have it on me. No.
so you're a comedian priest?
Okay.
You're a foreign.
Okay. Come on. Out of vehicle.
Hey, you just
Out of
opened the vehicle.
Yeah, you're getting out of the vehicle. Come on.
Hey,
Let's go.
What's taking me out?
Chief, did you ever read Mr. Griffith his Miranda warnings?
No.
Why not?
I mean, he was talking with me. I was talking with him. I was trying to de-escalate the situation, try to, first identify if he had a receipt, and we could conclude this if he had a receipt and he had legally purchased the equipment. Obviously, he didn't have a receipt, and then I was trying to de-escalate the situation from that point onwards. So.
If I can have just a moment, Your Honor. No further questions. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Griffiths, you may cross-examine. Please stay on task. Again, this is dealing with a motion to suppress statements and evidence. The court obviously has watched the video and heard the interaction, so please stay on focus, okay?
Yes, sir. Chief Daly, you were not the original responding officer, correct?
Correct.
You arrived after I was already surrounded and blocked in, correct?
Correct.
And after arriving, you ultimately opened the door and physically removed me from my vehicle, correct?
After a period of discussion with you, yes.
And before removing me from the vehicle, you did not provide me any Miranda warnings, correct?
Correct.
You stated I was under arrest multiple times, correct?
That was sort of later into our conversation. Our conversation, as you just witnessed, went on for quite a number of minutes. So towards the end of that conversation, I told you you're under arrest, yes.
Were you aware that I was already told by Mr. Church that I was under arrest?
I believe when I arrived on scene, there was an interaction with Sergeant Churches, and he mentioned it to me. But obviously, we were talking in a very affable enough way. So my purpose was to try and obviously persuade you to show receipt. If you had a legal receipt, that would have been able to resolve the situation. And on the basis that you asked if Home Depot were not going to press charges, that you could sort of drive away. I respected you, and I turned and I went back to Sergeant Churches just to ascertain whether that was correct or not. He told me that Home Depot did want to press charges, and then I came up and re-engaged you.
Were you aware that Mr. Church never read me my Miranda rights?
No,
So at no point in this stop was my Miranda rights ever read to me.
again, I didn't read your Miranda rights, and I obviously, as you asked me, I wasn't aware of anybody else reading your Miranda rights.
Okay.
But obviously, the issue was you were sitting in your vehicle, we were having a conversation, you weren't in physical custody, you weren't in handcuffs at that time.
When you arrived on scene, no officer on scene had seen any theft occur, correct?
Again, I was basing the information on what Sergeant Churches had told me. So he had informed me that you had been in Home Depot, you walked out with this merchandise, and my understanding was a manager contacted you as you were getting into your vehicle and said, "You're not, are you seriously going to do this?" or something to that effect, and you drove away. So there was no officer on scene. This was all reported to the Avon Police Department after you left in your truck.
So the answer would be no.
Yep.
Thank you.
No was yes versus no. Yep.
You relied entirely on secondhand statements from Sergeant Church and Officer Stamp, correct?
Yeah, the fellow officer rule. Yeah, we operate on that on a daily basis, where one officer tells
Thank
me
you.
information. I consider that to be fellow officer rule. Yes.
You did not personally witness me push a cart, carry merchandise, or take
Okay,
anything.
Mr. Griffiths.
Okay.
He's testified the scope of his
Okay.
knowledge. Let's move on.
Dispatch described the suspect as wearing a white shirt, no hat, correct?
I wasn't involved in that information or that conversation.
When you saw me, I was wearing an orange shirt and a hat and prescription glasses, correct?
If that's what was in the video, yeah, that's what you were wearing.
So on the dispatch, my clothing match did not match dispatch, correct?
Again, I had no information.
Mr. Griffiths, again, this witness
Okay.
has testified as the scope of his knowledge. We don't need to go through all those questions for this witness because he's already told us what was the source of his knowledge and where he started participating in this case. So please move on.
No officer on scene reported threat of violence from me, did they?
No specific threat of violence. No.
Thank you. You wrote that I was not resistive, correct?
You know, obviously, as you saw from the video, we spent quite a few number of minutes, me being extremely reasonable with you and requesting that you would exit the vehicle without any assistance from the police department and myself. Obviously, there was a point in time of which I made a decision that you needed to come out. I couldn't have up to 10 officers tied up for more hours and hours and hours for you to make your decision to exit the vehicle when you were told you were under arrest.
Were you aware that they took photos of the merchandise in the back of the truck?
I don't know if I was exactly at that point in time. I know at some point in time, Sergeant Churches mentioned about taking a photograph, sending it to Sergeant Stamp and verifying something. So I'd have to review the beginning of that video as to whether that conversation actually occurred when I arrived on scene. But I was made aware at some point, yes, photograph was taken and was sent to Officer Stamp at Home Depot to do some verification.
So there was a photo taken and sent to you.
Somebody, I presume it was Sergeant Churches, informed me of that. I just can't tell you exactly at what point in time that was told to me.
Thank you. You also wrote that you reached in and removed my seatbelt before pulling me from the vehicle, correct?
Yep, that sounds right.
Okay. You agree that removing someone's seatbelt and arms is physical force, correct?
You know, so when you say removing a seatbelt is physical force, I wouldn't say that's physical force. in relation to,
Just gonna, Mr. Griffiths, that doesn't have anything to do with the motion you filed.
Okay.
The motion today.
Did you have a warrant to arrest me?
no,
Did you have a warrant to search my vehicle or my persons?
all incident to arrest.
What's that?
I didn't have a warrant, but it was all incident to arrest.
So you didn't have a warrant to pat?
I
down-
personally did not have a warrant at that point in time, no. It's called a
Okay.
warrantless arrest of an individual.
You wrote in your report, I was that I would consider that felony eluding, correct?
No, I don't believe I wrote that in my report.
You also wrote that Sergeant Church advised he did not have probable cause for both parties, correct?
That is incorrect. I don't have any recollection that I wrote that in my report.
And again, Mr. Griffiths, this case applies to you. It doesn't apply to your passengers. So let's move on. They've already there's been various testimony about you being detained and then you being placed under arrest. It has nothing to do with your passenger.
You admit that before you escalated the scene, surveillance videos had not been reviewed from Home Depot?
I can't attest to that. I wasn't at Home Depot.
You admit you arrested me before verifying any Home Depot receipts or purchased records, correct?
I can't again attest to that. That was Sergeant Churches and Officer Stamp were working on that, so I wasn't directly involved in that.
Were you aware that I told Officer Church and Trooper Henninger that I had thrown my receipt in the trash?
I was not made aware of that, no.
So are you also not aware that not one officer went back to Home Depot and searched the
Mr.
trash for receipts?
Mr. Griffith, this is an issue of suppression of state, not a trial.
All of the probable cause information you relied on came from officers who reported conflicts with each other, correct?
Objection as to the phrasing of the question, the form of the question.
Yeah, that's sustained. I don't understand the question either.
The question is pretty straightforward. I stated that all probable cause information you relied on came from officers whose reports conflicted with each other.
Objection.
Yeah, that's sustained. I don't think we've heard the testimony of the officers testifying about what they did and didn't know and what they did and didn't write in response to questions. That evidence is already in the record. Objection sustained. Please move on.
Okay, no further questions?
Thank you, sir. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have any other witnesses to present?
No, Your Honor, the people rest.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would like to call Officer Stamp.
Do you have Officer Stamp under subpoena?
No, I don't. I figured they was calling him because he was the one that went to Home Depot.
It's not their job to present your witnesses, sir, so
They should have provided me with a witness list so I know who wasn't there to call.
not required to for motions. Sir.
I want this reserved for appellate review because he was the man that went to the Home Depot and has major facts and concerns in this case.
Sir, you've made your record in terms of, but you didn't subpoena the witness, and so the people don't intend to call them. The people have provided more than enough record for the court to be able to rule on your motion. I don't need to hear closing argument. Chief Daly, you're dismissed.
Thank you.
I have a closing argument. I would
I
like.
don't need to hear closing argument.
I would like the record to reflect that I'm being denied an opportunity for closing statement for
You-
appellate review.
The record so reflects. Okay, the court has heard the testimony from Sergeant Henninger of the Colorado State Patrol, Sergeant Churches from the Avon Police Department, and Chief Daly from the Avon Police Department. The court notes that on August 13th of 2024, there was a contact between Mr. Griffiths and initially Sergeant Henninger from the Colorado State Patrol. The court's going to first outline some law and apply the facts and then make its conclusions. An investigatory stop is a stop in which an officer suspects an individual of criminal activity and deems it proper to take action in order to protect himself and those around him. Police may undertake, that's pursuant to People v. Archuleta, 980 P. 2nd 509, Colorado Supreme Court, 1999. People may undertake immediate intrusion, such as an immediate stop, as long as there is a specific and articulable basis in fact for suspecting that criminal activity has taken place, is in progress, or is about to occur. The purpose of the intrusion is reasonable, and the scope and character of the intrusions are reasonably related to the purpose. That's again People v. Archuleta, People v. Weston, 869 P. 2nd 1293, Colorado Supreme Court, 1994, and Stone v. People, 174, Colorado 504. It's also commonly referred to as a Terry stop. Police also have the right to make that contact pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute, Section 16-3-103. Police officer's suspicion is reasonable when it has an articulable and specific basis in fact. That's People v. Garcia, 789 P. 2nd 190, Colorado Supreme Court, 1990. The relevant inquiry is whether the specific and articulable facts known to the officer, as well as the rational inferences drawn from these facts, would support reasonable suspicion of criminal activity so as to justify intrusion into the defendant's personal security. Again, that's Garcia, 789 P. 2nd at 192, as well as People v. Arias, Colorado Supreme Court at 159 P. 3rd 134. Contacting an individual through an investigatory stop does constitute a seizure within the meaning of the Fourth Amendment, pursuant to People v. Casio, 932 P. 2nd 1381, Colorado Supreme Court, 1997. The validity of an investigatory stop depends on whether, considering the totality of the facts to which the officer is aware at the time of the encounter and the rational inferences from these facts, that the officer has a reasonable suspicion of criminal activity sufficient to justify the intrusion on the defendant's personal security. That's People v. Daverin, 967 P. 2nd 629, Colorado Supreme Court, 1998. For somebody to be subject to a warrantless arrest, as in this case, probable cause for the warrantless arrest exists when the facts available to a reasonably cautious police officer at the moment of the arrest justifies his belief that a criminal offense has been or is being committed, and the person to be arrested committed or is committing the offense. That's People v. Magoon, 645 P. 2nd 286, Colorado Court of Appeals, 1982. The burden of proof remains with the prosecution to establish that the warrantless conduct on the part of police officers falls within the narrowly defined exceptions to the warrantless requirement. That's People v. Jansen, 713 P. 2nd 907, Colorado Supreme Court, 1986. With regard to Miranda, Miranda applies in the context of custodial interrogation. Pursuant to People v. Rodriguez, citation previously provided, law enforcement does have the right to ask for identification of the driver of a motor vehicle who is suspected of criminal activity. In this case, we've heard the testimony from 3 officers. They've been subject to cross-examination by the defendant as well. The court has also reviewed videos from each of the three officers' body-worn cameras. The court makes the following findings associated with this case. On August 13th of 2024, law enforcement was contacted by Home Depot in Avon, Colorado. The Home Depot notified law enforcement that an individual had stolen a number of items from the Home Depot. He had not passed through a checkout stand, and he had left the scene in a Ram pickup truck, Longhorn Edition that was pulling a 35-foot gooseneck trailer with a countertop on top. Law enforcement, specifically Sergeant Henninger, heard the report. He observed the vehicle as he was traveling eastbound on Interstate 70. The vehicle was traveling westbound. Sergeant Henninger followed the vehicle after turning around, stopped the vehicle at exit 157, which is the Walcott exit. He described the vehicle as matching the description provided by the officer who was in contact with Home Depot. There was a slight deviation in the description of a vehicle being black, whether it be black or dark gray. The court finds that distinction is not significant in light of the details associated with the Ram Longhorn Edition pulling a 35-foot gooseneck trailer with a counter attached on the top of that trailer. The court finds that Sergeant Henninger certainly had reasonable suspicion for the initial contact based upon the nature of the vehicle that was stopped. Sergeant Henninger initiated conversation. The defendant refused to identify himself. The court's already stated under Colorado law, when law enforcement has reasonable suspicion for a contact pursuant to People v. Rodriguez, that is a requirement that a suspect provide that information. The defendant continually asserted during cross-examination of the witnesses that the description provided was individual wearing a white shirt. The Sergeant Churches testified that he reached back to Home Depot and through Sergeant Stamps was able to receive a photograph that was a screenshot from video at the store. That video screenshot demonstrated the defendant wearing the same clothing as the defendant was wearing at the time of the contact. Further testimony revealed that Sergeant Churches photographed items in the back of the vehicle, sent the SKU to Officer Stamps, who is at Home Depot. Officer Stamps, Home Depot checked the SKU, and Home Depot stated nobody had purchased any of those items during the previous 3 weeks, thus adding to law enforcement's establishment of probable cause. Upon receipt of the photograph, a screenshot of the defendant wearing the orange shirt, upon receiving the information associated with the materials not having been purchased from Home Depot based upon their scanning the items and indicating that there had not been any actual purchases of those items. At that point, reasonable suspicion elevated to probable cause, and Sergeant Churches advised the defendant he was under arrest. The defendant continually refused to exit the vehicle. Sergeant Churches contacted his boss, Chief Daly, to attempt to have the SWAT team come out. Chief Daly chose to respond individually without waiting for the SWAT team so he could determine whether or not the SWAT team was going to be appropriate. The court does find that as of the time that Sergeant Churches told Mr. Griffiths that he was under arrest, that at that point, if he were to continue to interrogate Mr. Griffiths, that there may be a basis for suppression. However, following his advisement to Mr. Griffiths that he was under arrest, he did not engage in further questioning of the defendant. Miranda v. Arizona requires more than simply suppression of anything a defendant says. They have to be statements in response to interrogation while the defendant is in custody. Although technically the defendant was told he was in custody, the court will find he was in custody. There were spike strips employed that would prohibit the defendant from leaving the scene. Those were placed immediately before Sergeant Churches advised the defendant he was under arrest. The court did not hear any statements between the time he placed the spike strips in front of the vehicle and the time of the declaration that the defendant was under arrest. And so the court will not suppress any statements made to Sergeant Churches, as any statements after being advised of being under arrest were spontaneous and not in response to interrogation. Upon arrival of Chief Daly may or may not have been advised that the defendant had been told he was under arrest. The only question that, other than essentially trying to negotiate with the defendant to get out of the vehicle, was in response to the question whether the defendant was able to provide a receipt for that. And the defendant's response was, "I'm not going to do your job for you." That is the one statement that will be suppressed. That was in response to a question from Chief Daly while the defendant was in custody, and at that point, clearly not free to leave. The level of evidence had risen to the level of probable cause. And so that will be the one statement that the court will suppress. The court didn't hear any other statements in response to interrogation that merit suppression. The court heard many statements that were unsolicited, that were spontaneous. The law does not prohibit those statements from being entered, whether a defendant is in custody or out of custody, because they were not in response to interrogation. So that will be the order of the court as it relates to statements. The court otherwise sees no basis for suppression of the actual videos themselves, subject to redaction of the one statement that will be suppressed. Anything further? What was your motion, sir? So the motion is granted to suppress the statement, "I'm not going to do your job for you," and the question that led to that statement. That is the only statement that will be suppressed. There's no other physical evidence the court anticipates suppressing based upon the testimony provided in this hearing here today. The court will also note that there is a fellow officer doctrine in the state of Colorado that permits officers to rely upon the statements of other officers in making a determination for probable cause. So that shall be the order and ruling of this court. Anything further, Mr. Griffiths?
Now I just moved the court to dismiss all these charges because there was no evidence of a theft.
Okay, that's dismissed, or that's denied. The purpose of the trial is for the people to present their evidence and for the jury to determine whether they've met their burden. So this matter is presently scheduled to proceed to trial on December the 8th at 8:30 a.m. That shall be the order of the court. Sir, Judge, I presume Judge Fresquez will be here for the trial. Anything further from the people?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, that concludes this hearing. Thank you, sir.